Good morning. This is Catherine Dubberly with another issue in the Loom Knitters Sockumentaries. Today I would like to talk about using cotton yarn on knitting looms. And what I use is cotton yarn with some elastic added. This series is an accompaniment to my book, Socks of All Sorts for Knitting Looms, which is fully described elsewhere, so I won't bore you with it now. I just hope you'll enjoy knitting with this wonderful cotton yarn. I'll show you how to do it. Let's look at some cotton yarn that has lycra in it and is great for sock knitting. This is really the only way that I knit cotton socks because it's so hard without the elastic added to get that good sock fabric that hugs the foot and doesn't have bumpy holes in it. Look how much memory this has. I know of two brands that make a yarn like this. This one is Cascade Fixation yarn. There's also an Elan yarn, and I don't remember its specific name. It's E-L-A-N-N is the yarn company. That's very, very similar to this. And these hug the foot all day, don't stretch out of shape, make this nice dense fabric that you can see. And they're easy to knit with. Let me show you something before we start. This fabric is already pulled in and nice and dense, but I hope you can see on camera how much more so this one is. They're knitted the same, but after washing, it draws in even more, which illustrates why I always like people to not only make a good swatch, but wash the swatch before they get their gauge measurements. So the eventual fabric you get lofts in the way that cotton does. It absorbs water and poofs out. And you get more activation of the lycra. So the fabric becomes denser. Let us knit a little bit. Here I'm knitting it on a Kiss loom, which is wonderfully easy to knit it on. I'm going to make a continuous U-stitch, which is what the Kiss is so good at. Note how much stretch there is here. The part about learning to use this yarn in loom knitting is to figure out how much you're going to activate that stretch while you're working. You want to activate it some to get a firm fabric. What you don't want to do is get all the stretch stretched out so that when it tries to pull in later, it's like a rock. And the fact that it has all this stretch makes hooking over a real piece of cake. See how much play there is in that stitch, and yet it's not a loose, sloppy stitch. So this sock was not actually knitted on this loom, although it's going to come out the same as the sock that is knitted on this loom. I'm going to show you a sock loom using the same yarn in a moment. Well, this is technically speaking a sock loom. It's set up to knit a sock. But this one is made specifically for sock knitting. This is the one carried by Michaels, a loops and thread loom, and it's got this little adjustment feature. This slides in so that we can reduce the number of pegs down to way low or way high. But here I'm just doing a swatch for you. And this one, of course, doesn't have the continuous U-wrap feature. I just put my yarn across the pegs, pick it up, and knit it over. And this loom, some people find rather difficult to use sometimes, but those people will be much happier with it when they use this cotton yarn with lycra added. Actually, though, I think it is lycra. Lycra is a specific brand, and this yarn doesn't say that it's lycra. It says 1.7% elastic. But it's performing the same function, whatever it is, and it does a super job. I have socks now that I made 5 years ago that I'm still wearing out of this yarn. Very durable stuff. Very comfortable stuff. And I just thought that you'd like to see how nicely it works. If you have trouble with holes forming at the bottom of your ribbing or where you short row, even though you've wrapped properly to eliminate holes, this yarn or any yarn with stretch will help you. The thing about cotton, though, is that a lot of people need it because it helps with feet that tend towards getting foot funguses, or athletic wear, or when you live in a hot climate, as I do. In the summertime, a lot of doctors used to even prescribe that we wear white cotton socks for their sanitary properties, the fact that they can be bleached and that cotton absorbs the sweat but doesn't breed any microorganisms readily. Well, making your own cotton socks used to be quite a chore, but not if you use this cotton with a little bit of elastic added. It's just really wonderful. So, I hope you'll enjoy trying it.